Um, I wanted to talk to this morning. I've been thinking about this kind of big change in how uh, really I want to approach this little journal, which um, at first started off as maybe my reflections on art or filmmaking or whatever. And now it's more like kind of a autobiographical, but filled with everything that interests me or that I feel like wanting to express at a particular time. So pretty oh, ad hoc, hopefully not lazy in terms of, thinking and everything, but just things that come up that I feel the need to share. And I know there'll be, as I make these little blogs, there'll be variety of topics. Um, but I'll try to, at certain points, I'll try to group the little videos together where they have some commonality and see if that helps. But helps with, being able to pick what you want to hear maybe, or follow up on what was discussed in one little video to find more like it in other videos that I do. And so bear with me. It's a little bit of patience here. And, probably no one's going to look at this anyway. And that is even better because this is something, and this is something, ironically, I want to share with you all. And what I think I'm discovering here is a way to create a journal about your life and about your thoughts that you can maybe really get feedback from. I mean, it's interesting for me to see myself as I'm filming, and then if I want to play it back, and I do usually at the end when I upload it to YouTube, I hear myself and I kind of get an idea of how I come across and how my thinking is. And, I think that's kind of valuable. I mean, in some ways, um, it lets you look at yourself in a way that maybe it's hard to in other ways. If I were just writing, or if I were just um, maybe just commenting, well, I don't know. I mean, it's a little confusing to me right now, but anyway, what I think what I'm going to try to do is keep going with these as they come up, as I have some sort of inspiration to talk about something, and I'm excited about talking about something. And maybe this is something that you could all, not all of you, but maybe other people might find this to be really useful. Not creating, necessarily public content, although it could be on your website somewhere, if people want to look in on you and find out more about you and pick topics and listen. And but it might really be something that could free you up. Not, I think as I've started these, I've been talking to an audience. I've been like creating this audience in my head and addressing the audience, and I don't know that I'm going to be doing much of that anymore. I think I think maybe what I need to do is back away from thinking about the audience and just sit down and speak, make the recording, maybe look at it. If anybody's interested, they're welcome to look at them, but they're done for me just like what I think that's the way art should be. I think if not, maybe these aren't art, but maybe they are in some ways, or they're addressing art, they're addressing one's life, they're they're like self-portraits. Everything is a self-portrait. A landscape is a self-portrait, so I guess it's a little intimate, but it's also hopefully discernible to people and understandable if people do want to listen. I was painting this morning, and I just had this just came over me really strong. Some of the things I was just discussing, like just let it be your own work. Don't worry. And they say this all the time. Don't worry about the audience. Don't think about the audience. They say it all the time, but for some reason, I'm kind of experiencing what that means on a little different level now. I think, like this morning, I sat down, I was going to paint. I didn't really want to paint from a photograph. I didn't want to paint a landscape. I didn't want to paint a portrait. That kind of ends it for me, because that's generally what I do. I just wanted to paint. And I sat down with a little panel and some acrylic paint up in the kitchen where it's warmer than out in my studio right now. And I just started putting paint down on the panel. And I know, this is something most people are doing abstract art or whatever. They're not necessarily doing representational work. They're beginning with a mark and then they're moving on from that mark to more marks and then color and then maybe tone and then maybe some drawing. And I think that's, and taking into account what I've been thinking about in terms of everything is a self-portrait, no matter what you do. It doesn't even have to look like you. As a matter of fact, like I say, it could be a still life. It could be anything. It could be just total abstraction, but it's still you. It's still a self-portrait. And so I did a drawing of a man, or a little painting of a man this morning, and I'll upload a link to it. And I kind of like it. I mean, I don't really, I got it to a certain point and then stopped, which is what I usually do. If I don't know what to do next, I really don't want to ruin it. I want to kind of like either leave it alone until I can think of something to do with, or leave it alone to where I feel like I'm confident that maybe I don't want to go back into this. Maybe I want to start fresh, but then try to capture whatever new idea or new thought that was expressed in the first painting in the second one, but better, if that makes sense. So I did this little abstract sketch. I would call it a self-portrait. It's really I kind of like it because it has a universal man quality to it, a universal symbol or something, of a man. But it's very loose. It's very, very undone and very kind of, I'll show it to you rather than keep talking about it. But I think for me, and again, I'm 67 and I have struggled throughout my entire life with what I viewed as committing to art and how much resistance there was to getting past that to actually be able to do anything. And I mean, I have learned skills. I have learned how to draw reasonably well. I have learned even how to paint realistically. I don't know, realistically well, or the way I paint, which is the only way a person can really paint. So I don't know, I don't, just from my own observation, I know I've made improvements as I've gone along, just technically, to become like a bit of a draftsman and a bit of a painter, and to know something about tone and color, so forth, like I just mentioned. But I think there's, if you just follow your thoughts, follow your inspiration, follow an idea, and don't judge it, and learn not to judge it, you will do more artwork. You will just plain, and I think in today's world, I mean, to have any expectation, I have very low ambition, I guess, when it comes to, being a big star or anything like that, or even selling my work. I'm much more interested. And that's me. I'm more introverted along those lines. But so why not just go with that? And look, I'm introverted. I'm not ambitious when it comes to making a big splash. And I don't think I have the skills or the talent or the mind even for that. But I can at least make my own life more interesting and learn more about life and reality through my own being, and express that and put that down. And if it's accessible, that's good to other folks if they want to take a look. And if it isn't, well, if it works for me, then I think I'm probably not completely alone in how other people might create something similar, that we have similar thoughts running through our heads. We're all kind of, we're unique, but we're all human beings. We're all animals. And we have different ways of expressing the same thing, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And I think that's the key. I think if you can I think if I can relax and just go with it and, you know, do something and then leave it alone and don't think about it. I mean, just walk away from it and then go and have your dinner or, you know, watch a TV show and whatever it is. And then when you feel that pull again, come back and do something else. And, you know, it's interesting because I've just considered myself to be a student for so long, and it's been so, I'm realizing now I'm running out of time. And, you know, when I look back, oddly enough, when I look back on my older paintings, which are on my website, by the way, if you want to take a look at them, you know, they are works of art. They're not just studies. They're, you know, they're me. There's me in them. And I think for me, that's enough. And I think that if I can express what's inside me, make it external, make it something to look at or to hear or whatever, then, you know, I think have had a bit of a journey, you know, and then you start connecting these journeys together, and eventually you start to approach Oz or something like that. I don't know. I mean, maybe things open up even more. Anyway, random ideas and thoughts. I hope you like what I'm doing. Well, enough. Again, the audience. I am looking forward to thinking more about this and putting it down on video. Okay. If you're watching this, I hope you've had a great day. Take care.